I arrived at the restaurant a little ahead of schedule, a habit sharpened by years of calculated planning. Being early wasn't about impatience. It was about control, about seeing the battlefield before the war began. The venue exuded an air of opulence. Marble floors shimmered under the soft, amber glow of chandeliers. A pianist played in the distance, the notes floating like whispers through the air. This was not a place for walk-ins or casual diners. You either belonged here or you didn't. Approaching the hostess, I gave my name. She frowned, tapping at her tablet. "I'm sorry, sir. There's no reservation under that name." Her voice was polite but firm. Then, like a dagger slicing through silk, a mocking laugh came from behind me. "Perhaps a roadside diner will be more your speed," my wife's mother sneered, her voice dripping with contempt. At her table sat my wife, her brother, and his elegantly dressed companion. They barely glanced in my direction, eyes fixed on their wine glasses. My wife's gaze briefly flicked to me, but she quickly looked away. I smiled, slowly, deliberately, and let out a calm, amused chuckle. Not a nervous one. The kind of laugh that comes from knowing something no one else in the room does. Turning back to the hostess, I said smoothly, "Please let Marcel know that Caleb is here." Her eyes widened slightly as she disappeared into the back. Within moments, Marcel emerged, sharp in his tailored suit, silver cufflinks catching the light, arms open wide. "Caleb, what a surprise. It's been too long. Let me personally escort you." I gestured toward my wife's mother's table. "Actually, I'll be sitting there tonight." Marcel chuckled. Assume it was a joke. My expression didn't change. His laughter faded as he realized I wasn't joking. It hadn't always been this way. When I first met Nora, her mother wore a mask of politeness. Her compliments came with subtle jabs. "You've done well for someone from humble beginnings," she'd say with a patronizing smile. Nora seemed different, warm, genuine, and refreshing. She was my anchor amid the chaos. I had built my success from the ground up, long hours, sleepless nights, and shrewd decisions. When I finally proposed, the ring I offered stretched my finances thin. Nora saw it as perfect. Her mother, of course, barely hid her disdain. We married within months, and Nora slipped into my world with ease. But the cracks soon appeared. She grew distant. Family invitations came less and less, always dismissed as unimportant or not my scene. At first, I chose to trust her, until trust was no longer an option. The unraveling came slowly, then all at once. After receiving several anonymous tips, I hired a private investigator. The evidence was damning. Nora had been siphoning money from our shared company accounts, disguising the theft as joint ventures. Her brother was complicit. Her mother was the architect. 3 years of marriage, almost 2 spent robbing me blind. They believed I was too naive or too weak to catch on. They were wrong. Instead of confronting them directly, I planned carefully. Every morning, I kissed Nora goodbye and played the fool, while privately I tightened my grip. Financial audits, secure digital trails, lockdown accounts, copies of every transaction, hidden cameras, emails preserved. I documented everything. Then I made my boldest move, acquiring a 12% ownership stake in this very restaurant through a discreet shell company. Marcel, an old university friend who always admired my strategic mind, happily facilitated the arrangement. 10 steps ahead as always, he once told me with a knowing smile. Tonight, my wife's family thought they were witnessing my humiliation. In reality, they were attending the final act of play I had written. Marcel guided me to the table, positioning me directly across from them. "Anything Mr. Caleb desires is complimentary tonight," he informed the waiter. My wife's mother's eyes narrowed. I settled into my chair, relaxed and composed. "Tonight's on me," I said lightly. "As part owner, I insist." Nora's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. Her brother's face drained of color. I continued, my voice calm but sharp. "I know about the offshore accounts, the fake real estate fund, the permissions Nora granted her brother to authorize withdrawals." Nora opened her mouth, but no words came out. I slid a small flash drive onto the table. "Copies of everything. My attorney has them as well." Her mother leaned forward, her voice dropping into a warning hiss. You wouldn't dare take this public. I locked eyes with her. I already have. For a brief moment, her practiced poise cracked. By the way, I added, Nora's access to our joint accounts was revoked 4 days ago. And the prenup you pushed for? It's voided under the fraud clause. You might want to read it again. Nora sat stunned, her brother's fists clenched at his sides, but I held his gaze. Try it. I whispered. I had security waiting nearby, but they were unnecessary. I stayed long enough to savor my meal, watching the city lights sparkle beyond the glass windows, as if applauding the final scene. 3 days later, Nora moved out. The messages poured in apologies, explanations, pleas. I didn't respond. Her mother appeared once at my office, hoping to negotiate. She left humiliated. Their assets remain frozen under legal investigation. My lawyers assure me the criminal charges are rock solid. I haven't yet decided how far I'll take it. But one truth remains. They thought they could write my story and cast me as a footnote. They forgot I hold the pen. And I never write a chapter one don't intend to finish.